Hey guys, this is Jay from J02 Reviews. In this video, I am going to be reviewing, right now it's about 3-year-old game, Resident Evil 7, for that is basically on almost every platform. Not on Nintendo Switch, but it is on PS4 and Xbox One. And I'm just gonna be reviewing it to like sort of commemorate the day that Resident Evil 8 came out. So I did order Resident Evil 8 and it is coming, so I will be reviewing that, and hopefully that review will be really cool because I really do like this, like Resident Evil, and just the new way they made it. Before, I've watched the gameplay of how it looked before, and just like the new first person perspective. I mean, it's not new, it's right by now it's pretty old, about 3 years old, but I mean, in terms of the gameplay based on games like Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5, 4, like it's not it's not over the shoulder anymore, and now it's just like your first person, so you really get that sense of immersion inside the game right out of the gate. You play as character Ethan Winters, and apparently you lost your wife and she's now in rural Louisiana in a place called the Baker home, and it's like a plantation, but it's like their home. There's a family of people, and basically what's going on is that there was some sort of like bio weapon that was created named Evelyn, or there's another code name for her, but that her regular name is Evelyn, and what she's basically doing is she's controlled these people for a long time, and your wife Mia, she was on the ship that was carrying Evelyn out of like just transporting, they were transporting her to like just transporting her, and the Ethan's wife Mia was also working on that job to make sure she gets transported like safely and efficiently. So once that happens, the ship goes down in a crash, and you don't see your wife for the next 3 years. After the 3 years, you get a secret email that just basically tells you like to come to the Baker home, and just that your wife needs help. So I mean, what else would Ethan do? So by now we don't really know a lot about Ethan, but I know that Resident Evil 8 is definitely gonna like expand on that story on who Ethan really is. I know that because it's so unclear in the last game, and I feel like it will become a lot more. It will make a lot more sense in this one, along with the idea that that Ethan might be infected with whatever Evelyn did to the Baker family. Because in the game, spoiler alert, they don't get infected, but you do realize that that it's like what happens is Evelyn, like, you can make a serum to help you with it, and if you can cure only one person with that serum, and yet Ethan seems to be able to regenerate his body parts whenever he loses them in the game, which does happen, which I will get into in a bit, but he does end up losing like a lot of like blood and stuff, so he regenerates very quickly, so leading people to believe that the theory that he is also infected, because that's one of the powers that Evelyn can grant a person when she controls them, which is one of them being regeneration, and in this case it would be like body parts. But overall, the game story is pretty like complex, and also this like complexity is it's very cool to see like it all come together at the end. And I feel like Resident Evil 8's gonna explain a lot more that we did not know, or explain, or sort of like wrap up the end of the story. And I didn't do like a video on Resident Evil 8 when it first came out, because I believe at the time I did not even start my channel, and I didn't really know what to talk about in the videos. So now I'm talking about this is sort of like my like thoughts on Resident Evil 8, but also like it's a review of Resident Evil 7. And back to Resident Evil 7's, like I remember I said like, I guess, gore in this way. The game is very like violent, and I'm assuming that that's what you expect from a Resident Evil game. This is Resident Evil 8 is a sequel to Resident Evil 7, but it's not the first one, Resident Evil 7. It's the seventh in the series, and I did not really know. This is the first time I actually played a Resident Evil game, and I always wanted to, but I always thought I would be too scared to play it, and especially if it's like something with first person. But no, I guess I bought it. I bought it knowing that I was going to get scared, but I watched a lot of videos on it, so I pretty much knew all the jump scares and everything. And there's really not that many, but just like what to expect in terms of like scary factor. And I did do that, and then I saw that how like it makes it so much realer when you are playing the game in like when you're actually playing the game, because it's like how you're gonna get out of this. It's just very, and then again, unless you watched a full playthrough of the game, you're not gonna really know what's happening. So you're gonna have to Resident Evil, it consists of a lot of different components, like the scary factor, puzzle solving, item management, and I'll get into those in a bit. But just like that idea that when you're playing the game in real life, it doesn't feel the same as if you were watching it, because you don't know how to manage your items. You can manage your items completely differently. While one person on the internet might use a grenade launcher to take out one enemy, you might use a pistol, and then you'll get a different outcome. So it's definitely a cool like idea, and I love how the first person like sort of changed everything about it, because now you're not looking over the shoulder, so it's like it makes the immersion so much better, and that's just very fun about the game. You can collect ammo as you go, and this is what goes into item management. When you get an item in the game, you can either store it or, well, it depends on what the item is. You can either get ammo for your guns, and ammo for your guns then leads to better bullets, and then you'll have a lot more to take down enemies. Or you could use one specific gun, and then the rest of them could be something different, and you could get different gun bullets and everything. You can, I believe it's a fire extinguisher, but a lot of these item management, when I say all that, it also like a little bit of crafting inside of it, because you also get to get like little sporadic items, and once you get these sporadic items, some of them can be combined to make more weapon ammo, maybe some flamethrower like ammunition, and there's just a lot of other like crafting materials and mechanics in the game that you could use. Another thing that I really like about Resident Evil 7 is that it has a lot of puzzles, and I know that the Resident Evil series is known for puzzles and everything like that. So sometimes, but they're not your normal puzzles. Like, I would consider a puzzle being a challenge that might take a little bit of thinking to get done. And one of these things is, like, you could fight an enemy and then that could lead you to get a key or something that you could use to unlock another door. So just like any challenge that gets in your way, I would consider it a puzzle. Maybe not in terms of, maybe they're not the puzzles you would normally see in terms of like, normal puzzles. Like if you were playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, they're not the same puzzles as that, but they mix in that item management with the puzzles, and it just like collides together, because you need certain items to unlock certain doors, but in order to get to the doors, you need to use the item to maneuver in some way. Like there's one thing where you have to use a picture, and it like connects it with using a projector, an object, and you have to make it look like that picture. So it's definitely is a fun game when it comes to puzzle solving and item management. But I love how it combines them two together to make it makes the game a lot better. And one thing I do have to say is that during my playthrough, I have a feeling that the best part about this was that I was able to find my own items in Resident Evil 7, and that's one thing I might have a complaint with in Resident Evil 8. The idea that you can't have your own items I know in Resident Evil 8, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna have to. There's a merchant, the Duke. I don't know a lot about it because I wanted to go into it like a little blind, so I just thought that maybe that would be better. And I know you meet the a duke who sells you like a merchant, and he sells you items and everything. But I kind of feel like it like breaks the immersion of the game a little bit. Like, instead of you finding weapons on your own, you're buying them from some guy who, at this point, when you get the game at first, you're not even gonna know why, I'm assuming. And it just breaks the immersion a little bit. And that's one thing I really liked about Resident Evil 7, how you find your own weapons. Like that part where you're fighting one of the Baker family members who are infected, and you pick up the cop's gun who was sadly killed. But you pick up his gun, you can just use it. It's very cool to see, because it feels like a better, like, horror type of movie. And I'm definitely not a big fan of horror, but I've grown to, like, I guess, accept it, and then to a certain degree like it a little bit, because like, I mean, when I was younger I probably would not like it, but it is a very fun game to play. And I would say that I would recommend you buy it, especially since Resident Evil 8 Village is coming out. I definitely am going to be doing a review on that when it comes, and I'll be playing it and having fun. But don't worry about Resident Evil 8. You should buy Resident Evil 8, but also buy Resident Evil 7, so then you know the whole story, because it's like a new chapter for the Resident Evil series. And yeah. And with that, guys, this is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to J02 Reviews, and I will see you next time. Hope you have a great day, and I hope you play Resident Evil 8, because it's a very fun game. But first, play Resident Evil 7. I kind of already made that point. And I don't know how else to close this video out, so goodbye.